Just when you thought our injury problems couldn't get any worse, Tarek Mitchell went down in the game against Bournemouth and has got a hip injury, which, well, Roy Hodgson says he's not entirely sure what the hip injury is or how long it's going to be. He's due to have a scan at some point in the next couple of days, and that makes it even worse for us, really, because we also didn't manage to win the game against Bournemouth, which is very difficult to deal with. Obviously, let's get into it anyway. Before I go any further, by the way, do remember to subscribe, click the bell for notifications and all that good stuff to keep the channel growing. That would be very much appreciated indeed. So there's going to be a bit of a long one. Hopefully not too long, but it's going to be a bit of a long one, this one, because there's a lot to talk about. First of all, I did predict that it'd be a draw in the end of this game, and I think that it probably should have been a draw. I think that we certainly created chances, not clear-cut chances, maybe one or two good chances. The rest were half chances at best. The problem I found with this game is that it was one of those games where you didn't. The players were playing, in terms of trying their best, but it just wasn't producing anything, and that was the big problem for me. The fact that they looked like they were working hard, but there was nothing actually coming from it. There's no end product, if you know what I mean. We had a good game, against West Ham, and I thought that we would carry it in, but it didn't really work out for us. And Bournemouth got their 2 goals, which was very difficult to deal with as well, because I felt that we could have on another day have got a goal or 2 ourselves. We just didn't create enough chances. The ones we created, we just didn't do enough with. So, without going too far into the whole parts of the game itself, I felt that we looked a little bit edgy. We looked a little bit lacking in confidence, and I think that's understandable considering our recent run of form. But again, I thought that with the West Ham thing under our belt that we would be able to push on and put in a better result, but it wasn't that good in terms of end product. Obviously, we've got injuries to Doucouré, we've got injuries to Tarek Mitchell now as well, and we've got injuries to Eze. So there are 3 influential players that are out of our squad. So that, of course, we're going to struggle. But well, we had Richards in the middle again, and I thought he didn't do too badly at all. I don't think he was interviewed afterwards, and I don't think he was actually thinking he was going to be in the middle again. But he did his best. He tried hard. And he's more of a defensive-minded player because he's a defender. So he wasn't necessarily thinking about moving the game forward. But I think he did well in there. I think he tried really hard. So from that point of view, I thought that was okay. I thought the rest of the players looked a little bit on edge and looked a bit uneasy, and a little bit worried in some sections. There were passes that were going astray, and there were the biggest problem that I had during the game was that sometimes you'd have a player would have the ball, one of our players would get the ball, and they'd look up for a pass, and no one would be showing themselves, no one would be facing up to accept the pass, or they would be going in areas that weren't good enough areas to get the pass down, and then they'd try and make a pass and it wouldn't work. So that frustrated me a little bit, the fact that we didn't seem to be wanting the ball as much as we normally do, or showing ourselves to accept a pass and things like this. That happened a few times, which was a bit difficult to understand. I felt that Sam Johnson was a little bit cagey as well, a little bit uncertain at times, especially with the ball at his feet. I thought he's a little bit unsteady, a little bit unsure of himself, and that could be something that in the future teams get to know and might start putting more pressure on him in the future. So that's something to look out for. He did come for a couple of balls though, which was good because he hadn't really done that before, so that was quite good. But he did look a little bit unsure of himself, and the back 4 in general looked a little bit shaky, which again surprised me. I mean, there was a couple of mistakes made, one by Gahey, which led to the goal in the end because he sliced his shot, ran out for a corner, and then they scored in the corner. But to me, it just looked a little bit disjointed. We didn't really look like we had a solid plan in place, and that's a shame because I think that we did work hard. We just didn't seem to be working hard in the way that we needed to. We were running around a lot, and we were trying to close the game down, trying to close Bournemouth down. But there was, going forward. I mean, the only real highlight for me, well, one of the bigger highlights for me was Lerma. I thought that he had a great game. Hit the post with a fantastic volley. Had a couple of shots on goal and was really, really trying hard to make something happen. I thought he was one of the standout players for us in that game. But Edouard tried, didn't really work out for him. AU was a bit hit and miss. He did work hard as usual, but didn't quite link up as well as he has done in previous games. So Elise was trying as well, but I think they got the measure of Elise. They were doubling up on him, sometimes 3 players on him, hassling him off the ball and just trying to make it difficult for him, which is understandable because he is our best player on the pitch at the moment. So all of those things together, it was a difficult game. And I'm not taking anything away from Bournemouth. Bournemouth actually did play very well, and they have played well. They've been on a good run of form lately. So I think that they had kind of worked out how to deal with us, and they did it very well. So they got the goal, and at that point I thought there's a good chance that we're going to be able to nick a goal back because we were trying to get forward. Nothing was really coming of it, but I thought, eventually something's going to click. But then right at the death, we got the second goal, and by then that was it. Ahamada had come on by this time, but he didn't really have enough time to do anything of meaningful contribution to the game. He came on a bit too late. Hughes came on and was okay. He had a decent game again, but we just don't have the quality in depth of the squad when we're missing players like Eze and Mitchell, who went off with his hip injury and things like that, and obviously Doucouré. We don't have the strength in depth to deal with that, and it's difficult when you talk about what would happen to Roy after this game, because it is another defeat in a row, or in a long line of games that we've been beaten. Do we get rid of him? Do we keep him? I think that there is certainly now a stronger call for him to go. I think that for whatever reason, I think we've lost our confidence and we've lost our togetherness now, our camaraderie and our strength being in that unit, moving around the pitch as we used to. We don't seem to be doing that much anymore. So for whatever reason, I think maybe this is time for him to move on. But that doesn't solve the other problems. Even if we get rid of him and we get another manager, Eze is still injured. Doucouré is still out till next season. Mitchell is now injured. That doesn't change those things, and we're still a threadbare squad. We haven't got a lot of depth. So for us to succeed and to get ourselves out of this situation, not only, but you wouldn't only have to change the manager, you would also have to, in the January transfer window, invest or loan players to take up spaces in the squad and to give us a bit more strength. Now, Steve Parish did talk on Amazon Prime last night, and he said that they are going to be looking to get players in during the January transfer window. He thinks it's going to be loans more than buying, which is, I guess, it's better than nothing, but he said he is looking to do that. So there's a little bit of hope there if we can get the right people and if we can get them in for the right money, because obviously money is still a big problem for us, so we're not going to be splashing the cash necessarily. So overall, I think it was a disappointing game, but we've got to look ahead now to the Liverpool game and hope that against a bigger team we might be able to dig something out of our collective spirit and put in a good show for it. We'll have to wait and see. Hopefully Eze will be back. I mean, we don't know. Roy Hodgson doesn't think that Mitchell will be fit, so it's probably going to be someone coming in for him, probably Richards, hopefully. But that was pretty much how the game went. Let me know in the comments what you thought of the game. If you were there, let me know what you thought. Give me your opinions on who you think we should bring in the January transfer window if we do decide to dip in there. Let me know what you think about that, and also don't forget to subscribe. Follow along if you're listening to this as a podcast and all the good things as well. And I will see you next time.